about now? Crap, did I just say all that for nothing? Yeah. I think I did. Damn it. Let me try that again. New camera, new streaming setup. We'll see how it works. I'm just testing it out right now. I should probably get this going on my phone so I can kind of monitor what's going on. Something like that. So we'll see how it goes. Oh, well, there we go. Let me try that again. Okay, yeah, so it seems better now. Okay, so, the chat's going. I got a second monitor. I got all sorts of stuff going on. So we're just good. This is just basically a test. It's a test of the system. It's, I figured let's just do something funky with a stream, a live stream. So, this is the talking head screen. Let's go to the browser. So, okay, so here's the browser. It's on the wrong page. So let's go to FS Economy. So what we're going to do tonight is we're going to do a flight in FS Economy. And what it is it makes Flight Sim basically into a multiplayer, kind of a persistent, kind of worldy type thing, where you bid on or you grab passengers. So like in this case, I'm going to go from Charlottetown to Halifax, one of my favorite flights, and I'm going to grab all these passengers, and I'm going to add them. And then I'm going to rent this plane, this Dornier 228. And so I'm going to fly that flight, and when I'm done, it's going to figure out how much I spent in fuel. It's going to figure out how much I have to pay for the renting of the plane. It's got to figure out basically all the costs and how much money I get. And I'm actually going to fly this flight with a airline called Snack Air, which is John Fly's airline. If anybody's seen John Fly on Twitch or on YouTube. So that's what's going to happen there. So then you basically save up money and you can buy planes and you can fly them and make more money because you own the plane. You don't have to pay rent on it and all that kind of stuff. So you can buy FBOs, you can make groups, you can do all sorts of stuff. You can do banking, like banking up here, and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, that's what we're going to do. It's going to be a quick test stream, really. I just wanted to test my setup and see how things are going. And not only that, my camera battery only lasts like I don't know, like an hour at tops anyway, probably less than that. It's a really small battery. I got something else on order to come in. Let's see, we got 58 gallons right here in the airplane. I'm going to top it up to 100 just to be safe. 100 gallons refuel. There we go. So we're taking off from Charlottetown. And we're taking all these people to Halifax. Should be easy. And hopefully we'll do a return flight. Now, the fun part is my flight stick is over there and my camera is sitting on top of it. So what I'll do is I'll switch to the X-Plane screen and probably turn off the camera. So, yeah, let's do that. Hopefully X-Plane behaves, and hopefully the stream behaves, because I don't know. I tried to run it last night for an hour at 1080p at 60 frames, and it just couldn't do it. And I don't know if it was because of my settings. I played with the settings a little bit. The CPU usage is only about 10%. I was going to send it off to my laptop and have it stream, but it doesn't seem to have a good enough CPU. So I may have to play with the settings on that, or who knows. But it's all coming off the same PC right now, so we'll see. It doesn't seem to affect X-Plane too much, which you'd think it would, but whatever. All right, so let's jump over to X-Plane and get. Oh, there it is. Okay, so we are in the Dornier, and we'll take a look outside. There it is. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful plane. Oh, my license was updated. Thanks for telling me. Oh, and we're sitting right next to it looks like a A320. Perfect. So we got some static elements in here. It's a little turboprop. Most of the FS economy flights are in GA type aircraft. It doesn't get much bigger than this. They do have some airline flights now, but I'm not exactly sure how they work. So I'm going to have to check that out. What else? I think we'll just jump in and start up the plane. So we'll jump to the top and turn on the batteries and the master. That's good. Turn on the fuel pumps. Get the starter down there. And let's see. I don't know if this is going to be too loud or not. It might be. I better turn down the audio. Probably come in through the mic. All right, so there's engine number 1 going, or the right side, and the left side is starting up. There we go. And close that. There we go. And then it's hard to see. Let's get some lights in here. That's a little better. We need pitot heaters. We need generators. We need inverters. We need external lights. I'm just going to turn them all on for now. No smoking. Seat belts. Cabin lights. Cockpit lights. We don't need any de-icers. It's a pretty nice day. And it's not even below 0. Should be good. We'll leave that till later. Hopefully I don't forget that. Come down here. Turn on our avionics. There we go. And let's bring our Garmin up, and we're going to do a direct to, and we're going to go to C, Y. We're just going to go direct H. We'll do a visual once we get there. CYHZ, so that's Halifax. Activate that. Bring up the range a little bit, and that can go away for now. All right, so we are good to go. So I'm just going to turn off the camera and get rid of this thing over here. So just kind of hide that. And of course I did the wrong one. There we go. So should just see X-plane now. Hopefully the volumes on everything are good and it's not too loud in there. I'll check on my phone since this is a test. Yeah, it does seem a little loud. So I'm just gonna turn that down just a little teeny weeny bit, and I need to get my stick. There we go. That's not so bad, I guess. All right, so let's get this going here. So we need a taxi. We're going to taxi on over to, I believe, runway 3 today. Let's take a peek. I don't think there's any reason why we can't just wheel out of here. We don't need to push back. Yeah, we're just going to do a hard left. And to get this moving, we got to unlock it, so we got to put it in reversers. There we go. And bring it back. There we go. And this guy loves to move on the ground. And we'll just pretend those little static elements aren't there. Actually, are they on? No, they're not. That's part of the scenery. Okay. Okay. We're going to do this is a long runway for this aircraft. It doesn't need this long of a runway, so we're not going to use any flaps. We're not going to go very high. Just a little turboprop. It's not just a short flight, so normally I think they do this at about 10,000 feet in turboprops. Like the Beechcraft 1900Ds do this flight in real life all the time. And I think that's about what they do. So we'll do about the same, maybe a little lower actually. Don't let me forget. There's a bunch of stuff I'm gonna forget. So let's see. Turn down my phone a bit. There we go. Okay, so what we're gonna do is try not to forget stuff. So yeah. Well, I'm gonna start. So I'm gonna put that to air. And we're not going to do anything else yet. Actually, I guess we can start. We might as well log in to FS Economy. We are logged in. And it'll come back when we slow down. We're moving a little too quick for it. Our little thing that lets us start the flight. I believe. I should probably be using the checklist, but as usual, I'm just going by my memory, which isn't probably the best idea. All right, so if we slow down, there we go, and we can start the flight. There we go. So let's come up here. The lights are good. External lights are good. Panel, good. The power inverters are on, gens, bats, everything's on. That's good. Starters in air, pumps are running, pitot heaters are on, so that's good. And so what all we got to do now is bring up our engine RPMs, engine speed, and we'll head out onto the runway. Okay, what am I forgetting? What am I forgetting? Nothing, I think. I always forget something. Oh well. That's why I need a checklist. Oh well. Okay, so we're going to slowly advance the throttle, watching our torque down here. Watching the torque. Slowly advancing it, watching the torque. We don't want to over-torque it, which is very easy to do. There we go. Good enough, close to 100, and a little over 100 knots. We can pull back. Gears coming up. That's good. Drop the nose down a bit, trim it out, and we will bring it around. While that's happening, we are going to switch this to GPS mode, bring up the autopilot system, and we're going to go nav. No, we're not going to go nav yet. We'll wait. We'll let this come around. We're going to hand fly it just for a little bit. And we're going to set our altitude to maybe 3,000 feet. I think that should about do it. That should about do it. Okay, so nav, yaw damper. We could do bank limit and soft ride, but nah. Got our hardy crew in the back, we'll be alright. So indicated airspeed climb. So it'll try and keep us at the airspeed, even though we were accelerating, it's going to keep us at the airspeed it was when we clicked it, until we reach our selected altitude, which is we have to turn on the altitude select, and it'll stop at about 3,000 feet. Alright, so let's take a peek, make sure everything's good. GPS is lit. That's good. We'll keep it in this configuration until we reach our cruising altitude, which is very, very low. I just don't feel like figuring out the top of descent and stuff, which actually you can do in the Garmin pretty easy. Maybe I should. Nah, we'll just keep her low. So this is not as quick a flight. I do this flight, believe it or not, in the 737s and the one of my favorite airplane to fly right now is the A319. I do this flight as well, but I take those up to 12,000 feet. and it's a very, very quick flight. This plane is only going to cruise at like 200 knots, so it's a little bit longer. So what I do, and it's frowned upon by a lot of people, but when I get to cruise, I speed up our ground speed using the instructor station. I take it up to 6 times. It's frowned upon because it's not realistic, but it drives me absolutely batty to just sit here and watch it fly itself, be with autopilot to wherever we're going for hours on end. So I would rather limit the time that I'm actually sitting there doing nothing, and then bring it down, which is why I just used the GPS to get us to a direct flight to Halifax. So let's take a peek. So you can see that the autopilot's doing its thing. It's a 24-minute flight at our current rate. We did hit our 3,000 foot altitude. So altitude mode came on, altitude select disappeared, and IAS mode, the speed mode, also extinguished. So we are at cruise right now. So what I do is I bring up the instructor operating station and I just crank up the ground speed. So one of the things that we should do though is bring back our prop speed to cruise, which I think it's supposed to be about 97%, but I find that seems a little too fast still. So I slow it down to anywhere in the low 90s usually. I don't usually go this low, but whatever, that's fine. So now my torque came down, so I can push on the throttles a little bit more, just a little bit. I don't have my limiters turned on, but I mean I'm supposed to, but I monitor it very closely anyway, so it doesn't really matter too much. All right, so we are cruising, and if you take a look at the estimated time en route, it's going a lot quicker, which is great. So I wait till we're 3 or 4 minutes out, and then we're not. That's why I didn't climb up very high. We are burning extra gas because we're down so low, but if I stop at 3 or 4 minutes out, I only have to burn off 1,000 feet, and then I'm in the pattern altitude anyway, so it's not so bad. And we can straighten this guy out. There we go. And that should fix that. I do need to update my nav data as well. But yeah, so that's that. What a neat little plane this is. It's the Dornier 228. And we can take a look into the cabin. There it is. Lots of really cool details and the scratchy textures. Even the front cockpit part is, look at that, all sorts of little scratches and stuff. Very, very, very nice aircraft to fly. A lot of fun, and very efficient for FS economy, honestly. Sorry, I just remembered I was not monitoring the chat, just in case somebody decides to watch me. It happens once in a blue moon. All right, so we are cruising along. We should probably check our progress. The stream seems to be healthy. Very, very good. That's good. So yeah, we're down to 7 minutes already. So we're going to drop the range down. We're at 50 miles, 7 minutes out. So we're going to be here. I'm going to set up our heading bug. Actually, where it was fine. And we're going to switch to heading mode shortly so that we can line up properly for a visual into runway 23 in Halifax. So, and we'll do that now. Switch to heading mode. We should just do a slight left turn, which we are. And yeah, so we got a little over 3 minutes. And so we're going to bring up the instructor station, hit the ground speed 1, and we'll wait for a couple more, and there we go. Tab out, and now we're back to normal speed, and we're ready to do our approach. which is a lot better than sitting here and staring at a screen for hours waiting to get somewhere. So there we go. Alright, so we should be in pretty good shape. Let's take a peek at this. Bring the range down. And we still got a little bit to go here. We got 2 minutes. We're 2 minutes out. So we're going to bring this guy back up and drop our... Oh no, we're good. Bring that up so we have max power in case we have to do a go around. If you look through the windshield wiper, there's our runway. So runway is in sight. And we need to lose some altitude. So I'm just going to I'm going to turn off our autopilot. There we go. And the plane is mine and I'm flying. So we're going to drop the throttle and start to lose some altitude. That alarm was just the fact that I have the throttle all the way back and I don't have the gear down yet. But I'm going too fast for the gear to come down. So actually what I could do is bring the throttle back like that, level out a bit, drop the speed down to an acceptable level. 160 is where you can drop the gear in this plane. Oh, and we missed our turn, so we're gonna have to bring that back a little bit. I always screw something up, but that's okay. So now this plane is very, 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 very draggy when you start dropping stuff like gear and flaps and whatnot. Extremely draggy. So I do that so that I can get the gear down, drop some flaps, and I can lose altitude like nobody's business without overspeeding. In fact, when I get full flaps, I have to give it a lot of throttle just to stay in the air, which is I think that's par for the course with these types of planes. So turboprop. All right, so we are full flaps. Our gear is down, 3 greens. We have our throttles are set up nice. I'm going to trim a little bit and turn off the prop sync, or they call it synchro in this one. I need a co-pilot so I can fly the plane and do all that at the same time. I think I left my landing lights on, so that's fine. We don't have to worry about that. So we're coming in nicely. This plane flies so nice on the approach, so easy, and we are approaching and we are landing, and we're going to throttle back and we have no choice. There we go, we're on the ground. Reversers, brakes, that's good enough. There we go. And well, as soon as that car in front of us gets off there, we're gonna take that taxi or that ramp off onto the taxiway from the runway. There we go. This guy loves to run on the ground, so you got to really control that throttle. What do we got on the ground down here? WestJets and Air Canada. Just go figure. Alright, these guys in the back of this plane, we're just going to drop them off on the ground here. We're not gonna go to a gate. They can run across the tarmac. I don't know if this plane's big enough for a gate, honestly. Probably not. So we'll drop them off right in here. There we go. And we'll hit the brakes in case we decide to go for another flight. Alright, so that is that. The brakes are on. And we're going to bring the RPMs back down. Mellow things out a little bit. And we will finish the flight. All right, so let's take a peek at our browser. And okay, let's go with the full screen browser. All right, so here we are. So this is the flight that we were flying. So now we can hit our logs, and we can see that we made $8,625. And if we click on View, we can see that about half of that, almost half of that, went to Snack Air, and a little over half went to me, the pilot. And so the cost on the rental for the amount of time that we flew it was $910 because we used it for half an hour. Our fuel costs were $156. Additional crew fees, $51. Ground crews, $1,100. Booking fee, $1,000. And so it was $11,000. And then after everything said and done, we got a little bit of a distance bonus, bringing the plane back to its origin, closer to its origin, and we ended up with $8,000. So that is a flight in FS economy, and I have cash on hand, $12,760, and $178,000 in the bank. So now I can, if I want to, I can go to the banking tab, and I can make my cash zero, and it puts it into the bank. So now I have $191,000 in the bank. And so really I could go out and I could buy myself a Cessna with that, or a lot of planes. Let's take a look. So if I go to a purchase aircraft and I go price range, let's see, like 170,000 up to 200,000. Let's see what kind of planes we get. Bank owned and player owned. There we go. We got an Augusta. We got a BAC Jet Provost, whatever that is. Bell 206, I believe that's a helicopter. We got some Cessna 152s, 172s, 182s, 177 RG. That's cool. You also got to watch the equipment. You really want to get one with GPS so you can use the GPS. 195, a Cessna T50 Bobcat. I think that's only a 2-seater, isn't it? Holy crap, 5-seater. Okay, never mind. Not what I was thinking of. A de Havilland Puss Moth. Sounds gross. A Dornier, a DO 27 and 28, Eurocopter, Ford Trimotor, Grumman, Lancair, Lockheed Vega, a Piper PA-22, PA-28s, Cherokees, Comanches, Arrows. Arrows are nice. No GPS in it, though. That would be nice. So we got a CB. Those are fun. Robinson, that's another little baby helicopter. The SIAI Mercedes, that's a fun plane. They make a really good one. The guy, Jay Rollon, made one, I believe, for X-Plane. Same guy that made the CRJ 200. He did a really good job of that plane. That's one of X-Plane's best planes right there. And it's got a GPS, and I could buy it for $200,000, so almost there if I wanted it. And a Spitfire. Can't imagine making a lot of money in a 2-seat Spitfire in this game, because one of those seats is taken up by the pilot. So I can see it being fun to fly, but I can't see it being a big money maker. And it's all pure VFR, so you'd have to look for stuff on the ground to navigate. So yeah, that's the price range we're looking at. The plane we just flew, if we search by model, was a Dornier. A Dornier? I don't know. Is it French? I don't even know. I should probably look that up because I like it. It's a really nice plane. We'll have to remove the price range because I don't think that's going to be in that price range. No. So to buy the plane we just flew, we're going to need between 1.4 basically million and $1.6 million. And of course, looking at the locations, one's in Texas. That's not so bad. Bourgogne, Hungary. Okay, that's going to be tough to get it back to Canada or the U.S. if I wanted to. We got somebody in Nepal, and France. So really our only option is this guy down in Texas if we wanted to buy one. Engine time is pretty low, and the 100 hour isn't due for another 140 hours. So that's not great, but it's okay. I'd probably consider it. I don't know what the 100 hour costs on the Dornier. I imagine it's pretty expensive, but I've never done it. I've never owned a plane in this yet. I've just kind of started. So there we go. Let's take a look and see if we can fly another quick flight. Let's see. CYHZ. We are at. So we need to go to CYHZ. And let's take a look and see. We can go to Trenton, Nova Scotia. There's a few. There's like 5, 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 people. This plane holds like 19 people besides the pilot. So be nice to get a few more than that. CYXZ. That's Greenwood. That's a short flight. It's only 60 miles. 1, 4, 6, 8, 11, 13, 14, 15. That's pretty good. Just to go to Greenwood. Of course, once we get there, there's nothing. So we're basically doing a 2-legger and getting paid for one. Let's see. We got St. John. There's only like 5 people going there. CCW4. Stanley, Nova Scotia. Not very many people. And they're not paying very much. 400 and it's only at 22 miles. And once you get there, you're probably done. Yeah, there's nothing once you get there. Let's see. CYCH, new. And we got 2 going to Summerside, which I do like to fly to. It's my real life home airport. So, 6 passengers paying $3,600. And we would still end up paying, what was it, like $2,000 for fuel and the aircraft costs. So we'd only make a little teeny weeny little bit of money. So that's no good. Nobody going back to Charlottetown. Not a soul going from Halifax to Charlottetown. That's too bad. Probably because I did it too recently. But I do want to get this Dornier back there because it seems to stick around when I have it in Charlottetown. Nobody seems to want to fly it out of there. Gosh. I don't know. I don't know what to do. We are here. We got to go somewhere. Well, we want it to be a short flight, so we'll go by that. This one here seems like the best bet, but once I get there, there's nothing. I can't go. There's nothing going back to Charlottetown. There is a way to find airports that are sending people to Charlottetown, I think. Nope, not down there. Distance to, go to. Yeah, I'd like to find out who's got flights going to. See, this is from Greenwood. I want to say to Charlottetown. Can I do that? I bet you can. I just don't know how. Show assignments to. There we go. To airport. Go. Awesome. So now we can go CYYG. Go. And then change it to go. There we go. So now we can see who's got stuff going to Charlottetown. See ya. That's very, very close. It's only 9 miles away from where we are. Or no, sorry, that's Bering. But it is. It's very close to where we are now. It's like 20 miles or something. It's a short little flight. And then we can grab all these passengers and take them back to Charlottetown. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go to CYHZ and see if they have anything going to CYAW. It's probably not because it's too close. Yeah, they don't. So we're going to do this at our cost. So we are going to, we need to rent that plane. So the Dornier, I got to figure out how to pronounce that. We're going to rent that, and we're just going to fly. So let's go back to the X-plane view. And we're just going to fly to see ya. And then we're going to pick people up there and go back to Charlottetown, and then we'll be done. All right, so direct to C. Y. I wish I had a memory of where I go, because I seem to go to the same places over and over again. Little milk runs all over the place. So it's C. Shearwater. Activate. Yeah, and it is 14.9 miles. Yeah, so we're not even gonna set the autopilot for this guy. All right, so let's bring our flaps up, and let's we're just gonna back up a little bit. We're going to start our flight. We have 62 gallons of fuel and no assignments. That's fine. So what we're going to do, actually, let me just bounce back to we're going to set up that flight before we go anywhere. Sorry, folks. I'm just going to get those passengers lined up quickly so that we can just load them up when we get there. There we go. And there we go. Sorry about that. Let's get moving. Again, long enough runway, no flap takeoff. Landing lights are still on. Everything's still set up. We're basically doing a really quick turnaround. Alright, and so we need to bring up the RPMs. And there we go, lined up. Slowly advance the throttles so we don't over torque. You're supposed to use your brakes until 40, but and that's enough of the throttle. Wait for about 100. Leave the ground. Gear's coming up. Positive rate. All right, let's just bring our GPS up, and we will just go directly to Shearwater, just on the other side of Halifax. Just a quick little jaunt. This one's going to cost us a little bit of money, but we should make a bundle for the Shearwater folks heading to Charlottetown, and we'll get our favorite little plane back, because Dornier seems to be in fairly high demand, so I don't like to, and there's not a whole lot of them around, so I like to keep it in a place where people don't like to fly from, which happens to be Charlottetown, which is too bad because it's a beautiful little spot. Alright, so I am still going to speed us up, but we are hand flying, so we'll have to keep this instructor station open. I just want to go a little bit quicker. Just get everybody. We're going to veer off to the right a little bit and throttle back a little bit. Oh, great. Okay, damn it. We're going to have to slow down. We're in the fog here, and we were supposed to be doing a visual. So I'm going to drop back down. so that we can see the ground. And we're going to level out a little bit here and lose some speed so we can drop the gear. And we are 3 miles out, and we need to lose, so gear down, and you get to see the dragginess of this aircraft. We're supposed to wait till 150 to drop our first set of flaps, but we're not. There we go. Now we're just going to slow right down. One more set of flaps. We're at 100 knots. And we got to bring up the throttle so we don't drop out of the sky. And we can turn around. We should see the runway right in front of us. There it is. Not too shabby. Not sure where all this fog and cloud came from. As far as I know, I thought it was nice in Halifax today. Alright, we're going to drop a little faster, so we're going to take off a little more throttle. There we go. Alright. Okay, so here we go. Watch these trees. A little more throttle. We're going a little too slow, and I can't drop the nose, so we're going to give it a little throttle, hopefully, just to keep us in the air. There we go. And nose down, throttle down, flare. Oh, I flared too early. Damn it. Way too early. Way too early. Oh well, worked out. Reversers are on, and we're going to do a runway loading. So brakes. Parking brakes are on. And we are going to end the flight. And we are going to check to see if we have enough gas. Browser. Okay, my flight. We are going to fly this for Snack Air. Yes. It's going to depart from Sia to Charlottetown, and we have 55 gallons. It's usually enough, but I'm going to top it up anyway. And refuel. Snack Air. Loading passengers. We have our aircraft. Let's get back in the air. Alright, so first things first, we're going to set this up before we get in the air. So we're going to go direct to Charlottetown, CYYG. There it is. Activate that. Crank up the range. That's probably good enough there. Put it in GPS mode. And raise the flaps. There we go. And start the flight. We have 9 assignments on board. Still not even close to full. That's okay. Parking brake is off. We're moving. Let's get to the center of the runway. Slowly advancing the throttles. A little more. Straightening out, stay on the center. That's enough on the throttle. There's 100 knots. Pull back slowly. There we go. Gear's coming up. Probably didn't set my. I don't think I set the trim properly on that takeoff. I didn't reset it after we came down. All right, so let's bring her around. We can probably just go nav mode now. Turn on the autopilot, the yaw damper, and set the IIS and our altitude selector. There we go. Range doesn't have to be quite that high. And we're on our way to Charlottetown. Quick flights. I find with FS Economy, it just makes me want to do quick turnarounds like that. I'm not sure that's what they intended, but so here's my thoughts. Somebody can jump in and correct me if I'm wrong. But I kind of want to do an FS Economy, but with airlines. It's well within my skill set to do that. It's just a plug-in for X-Plane, which I've built plugins for X-Plane. And it's basically a web service with a website in front of it, which I do for a living. So easily could handle that stuff. So I wonder if that would be a good idea. I think it might be. Oh, sorry. While we're at it, let's do two things. First of all, bring our RPMs down to cruise and crank up our ground speed so we can get there in a reasonable amount of time. Yeah, so the thought is it's not that hard to make a database, drop a website in front of it where people can pick up passengers and fly them in airliners. The problem with FS Economy doing that is that it breaks their economy because their economy is set up for GA. But if you do it from the start with airlines, then with airliners and picking up passengers and cargo, then you can scale your economy to fit an airline. And it wouldn't take me a long time to get something functioning. Pretty quick, actually. Probably a couple weeks. Of course, to get it good enough so that we could release it and have it in for general use, it might take a little longer. But yeah, I mean, and the other thing is I don't really know much about dispatch and all that kind of stuff. Flight bidding and all that stuff that happens at airlines. I don't really know a lot about how to do that sort of thing. So I'd have to do a little bit of research on that. I have to do a little bit of research on how to putting airports in is no big deal. But putting in airplanes and their performance numbers and how many passengers they can hold and how much fuel they burn based on their weight and all that kind of stuff. You probably have to have a good handle on that kind of thing. So I don't know. It's definitely doable. I mean, you could just drop the planes in one at a time to start with until we get good at it and do some testing with them and figure out the numbers as we go. And then once we get good at it, then we can, it wouldn't take as long to get an airplane added. So that's not a terrible idea. If anybody's watching this and they're into flight simulation, then please let me know what you think about a system like that. I would love to build it. I mean, literally, that's in my wheelhouse. That's what I do for a living, is, that sort of work. So yeah. What do you think of the glass on these? Like, they have an option in this Dornier to turn off windows reflections, and I think it just makes it look more realistic when the reflections are on. It's a little more difficult to see and stuff, especially at night, but it just makes it look, I don't know, more 3D-ish looking out the cockpit. I'm sure in VR it would be just amazing, but yeah, I love this little plane anyway. So let's straighten this guy out a little bit. There we go. Oh, a little too far. There we go. All right, so we're 9 minutes out of Charlottetown. Quick flights. Even the glass has reflections on this guy. It's cool. I love this plane. One of the few Carinetto planes that I kind of like the way it flies. I don't know how realistic it is, because really, when you look outside in this airplane, like there isn't much to the wings. Even when you have flaps down, there's just not that much drag. It doesn't look that draggy. And look how small the wings are compared to the plane. You know, and they're fairly flat. So I just don't know if flaps in this would really give it as much drag as it actually has. It just seems unrealistic to me. But I mean, who knows? I've never flown this plane. I've never even seen one, as far as I know. So it's interesting anyway. But I do like it. I do like this plane. All right, so let's bring in our heading mode. We want to head off and get ready here for our landing. So we will slow it back down. And since I haven't done one yet today, let's do the gratuitous flyby. Oh, I still got my landing lights on. I love that plane. All right, so let's see. Let's bring her back. You know what? We don't need autopilot anymore. And we can turn that off. The plane is mine. The plane is mine. So we'll slowly bring back the power. I don't think we need to go that far in this case. We'll just waiting for the speed to come down a little bit. 160 we can drop the gear. 150 we can start with the flaps. Not much further now. And there's 160. Gear's coming down. The drag starts. There's 150. First set of flaps coming down. I have no idea what the second set of flaps is, but we're going to drop it anyway. There we go. Now we're getting the drag. We can throttle back even further now. Let the plane start dropping. Trim it out for the descent. A little late for a descent, but that's all right. And one more set of flaps just for fun, and we'll give it a little throttle so we don't drop out of the sky. I mean, look at this thing drop. Look at this. Let's do another flyby. Watch this. Look at this thing. And look at the flaps. I mean, they're not that big. In terms of the wing surface area, they're really small flaps. So who knows? Who knows? Maybe it does have this much drag. I mean, it is a turboprop too, so the fact that we have the throttle all the way back, but it's not. It's not just the throttle all the way back. It's mostly the flaps creating the drag, right? So who knows? Who knows? I am not a Dornier expert. I don't even know how to pronounce it. I just like flying it. It's fun. All right, landing lights are on. Those guys are good. We never did set the synchro, so we're just going to watch our speed. And we're a little, actually, according to the Pappies, we're a little high, but it doesn't, I don't think so. I think the Pappies are wrong on this, in this scenery. This is Payware Charlottetown. Can't believe somebody actually made a Payware Charlottetown for X-Plane. Although, I think it's the second one, actually, that I've seen. And throttling back. Pulling back. And we're down. A little hard on that landing. I should probably get a landing radar thing. And look how fast you can stop on this. I'm hardly touching the brakes. So there's a lot of drag even on the props. Look at this. We didn't even make it to the turnoff that you normally get to. It's crazy. Crazy. All right, so let's bring these guys back. There we go. And bring up the flaps. There we go. All right. Microsoft, I believe, makes this airport. It didn't cost me a lot of money. I mean, it shouldn't. It's only Charlottetown, but there we go. Bring it into, we'll just go in spot 1. What the heck? What's over here? I think that's the actual spot 1. Yep. And we should get a little guy telling us when to stop and whatnot. Yep. And there we go. Stopped. Parking brakes are on. Forgot to turn off our landing lights. The rest of the lights can come off. Let the passengers get up. And we can shut off the engines like that. Turn off our generators. Running off the battery, so turn off the pitot heaters. And we don't need any pumps. The lights are coming off, and there's our batteries, and our master, and our finished flight. There we go. And that is to Halifax, basically, and back in the Dornier 228. What a funky little plane. I love it. I love flying it. I was doing a lot of these flights in an Otter, the Twin Otter, but I don't know. Kind of like this one better. Just it flies quicker. It's that drag is it's I don't know how realistic it is, but it sure is fun. So there we go. Let's go back to the browser and take a peek and see how we did. Meanwhile, I'm going to turn the camera back on. And I don't know. There we go. I went to the browser, not the full screen browser. Oh, okay. Well, good thing I turned the camera back on. And it's stuck, so that's okay. We'll just ignore that for now. Actually, I think it just needs me to open up. I'm going to have to figure that out. Open up the little screen thing. And, yeah. And then it doesn't get stuck. Okay, so here we are. Let's... I showed you the browser. I need to see it too. There we go. So there's the flight we were going to do. There's like, what's that, 2,600? There's a lot. How come it said we only had 9 passengers? Maybe it was 9 of these, but we had a lot more passengers. Well, let's find out. Let's find out. If we go to the logs, we had, it cost us $150 to do that little ferry flight. So that wasn't bad. It wasn't bad because we got $8,900 in revenue from this flight. It was a $12,000 flight. That's how much revenue we brought in. Our rental was for 35 minutes, and because it was slightly farther than the half-hour flight to Halifax was from Charlottetown. 910 on the rental for that. 174 in fuel, 58 in crew, 1,200, 1,000, so 2,500. Yeah, so if we had flown to Summerside with those 3 passengers, we would have made, well, and it's even a little farther, but we would have made somewhere around $300 or $400. Distance bonus, we had to pay $80, no big deal. So our earnings ended up being netted to $8,900, $4,000 of which went to Snack Air, and $4,800 go to me. There we go. So now we have $4,600 in the bank. So there must have been some. Oh yeah, the $150 we had to pay out of our bank money. So that's what happened to that. It was out of our cash. We had to pay that $150. So there we go. There we go. That's FS Economy. Let me know. If anybody's watching this, let me know what you think about the streaming format. Let's go to the talking. I don't need to see my browser anymore. This is temporary. I'm still working on it. That's why there's nothing but a background here. I could probably just center myself. There we go. Yeah. So for now, that's what this is. It's all just I'm just testing, playing around with the different streaming softwares and all the different interfaces and everything, and trying to get it working. The transitions and the little animations and whatnot. So yeah, that's what I'm doing with the streaming. I really do. If anybody does end up watching this at some point, I'd like some comments, if you could, on the airline idea, FS economy for airlines. Really, really would be a fun project, and it wouldn't take too long. It's when you start getting into, buying gates and airports and all that kind of stuff. That's when it gets really interesting. Do I not have? Oh yeah, I have sound. It's just I didn't hear anything. Project, and it wouldn't be. Okay, yeah. I looked over at my phone and it wasn't making any sound, but I could see my face moving. So yeah. So anyway, let me know what you guys think about the airline thing. Let me know what you think about this live streaming thing. Is it better than the pre-recorded videos, or is it worse? Tell me what you'd like to see, yeah, I'm having fun with it. So I'm probably going to keep streaming, especially during this COVID stuff. So everybody, stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you next time. Thanks. I don't have a outro made yet. I had the starting soon screen, but I don't have the outro. Okay. So I'm just going to wait for just a few seconds, and then we'll shut it off. Because I think there's a delay, and if I just shut it off, it'll cut off the last parts that I'd say. So, whatever. There you go. We'll just let you watch the funky background.